Meeting is called to order. Approval of electronic participation by board member.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Day?
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Jalil,
Yes.
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
So I believe we're having, how you doing, Mr. Barron?
Well, sir, thank you.
Good. Let's stand for our pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do I have a motion for agenda approval?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Day?
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. DePaul, if you're there. Mr. Jalil,
Yes.
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
All right, our chair is absent tonight, so we'll move on to the public comments. I'm going to read the instructions. Do we have any additional from this list?
No, sir.
Okay. In accordance with policy BDDH, public participation, members of the community are invited and encouraged to attend meetings of the Lynchburg City School Board to observe its deliberations. Any member of the community may address the board matters related to Lynchburg City Public Schools at any regular meeting. Persons or groups wishing to address the school board may do so by choosing one of the following. Leave a voice message on the school board clerk's phone at 434-515-5077. Messages will be played during the public comment section of the board meeting. Address the board in person during the public meeting. Persons desiring to address the school board by voicemail message shall submit the voicemail to the school board clerk no later than 3:30 p.m. on the day of the school board meeting. Persons desiring to address the school board in person shall contact the clerk of the school board no later than 3:30 p.m. on the day of the school board meeting or by signing the public comment form, which shall be available to the public 15 minutes before the meeting starts. Each person requesting to speak shall identify the subject they want to address, and if the speaker represents a group, the speaker must identify the group. Persons appearing before the school board will not be allowed to campaign for public office or promote private business ventures, and should not use profanity or vulgar language or gestures, make comments about a public official or an employee that are not related to the public official or employee's official duties, engage in behavior that disrupts the meeting or intimidates others, or address the school board on issues that do not concern the services, policies, role, and/or responsibilities of the school board. Individual speakers shall limit their comments to 3 minutes. A speaker representing a group shall limit their comments to 5 minutes. The representative shall identify the group at the beginning of their presentation. A group may have no more than one spokesperson. The total allotted time for public comments at school board meetings is 30 minutes. Voicemail messages to be played are also limited to 3 minutes for individuals and 5 minutes for speakers representing group. Priority will be given to in-person comments before voicemail message in the following order: 1, students; 2, staff; 3, parents, guardians; 4, community members. Public comments are reserved for the public to provide input. The board does not respond to comments, answer questions, or otherwise engage in discussion at this time. So tonight we have 4 speakers listed up to speak. I have Mr. Robert Flood, representing Rescuers of the Youth; Curly Scott on student achievement. Is there a group called Concerned Citizens? Okay, McKinley Marshall, Excellence in Education, and then Danette McCain, assessment as an individual. So, Mr. Flood.
First of all, I'd like to thank y'all for letting me speak again, superintendent and school board members. Just wanted to give an update. I know y'all can't give me no feedback about rewarding assistant coaches in the middle school. I don't know if y'all started talking about that yet, but I know football season right around the corner. Then as soon as that, basketball season, soccer, baseball, and you have a lot of assistant coaches that some of them volunteer, some of them, I don't think they can get no kind of conversation as far as with nobody talking about, getting some kind of pay. And something I brought up, I think a couple of weeks ago. I think the assistant coaches are just like the head coaches when they're not there. Not only they play a role in sports, they play a role as a father figure to some of these kids that don't have fathers. And I think they need to be compensated some kind of way. If it ain't monthly, it could be yearly or whatever time they participate in our sport. And the second thing is, I know that we talked about, at least I talked about having trainers, football, basketball trainers at middle schools. And I know that's been a big thing because a kid could get hurt, and if you don't have a trainer right there that's certified to do whatever they need to do when the kid get hurt, it could be a terrible problem for y'all in the long run. You pay now, you pay later. And on top of that, I know we have the life-saving crew, the fire department. They have people that maybe would like to contract with y'all or talk to y'all about coming out for an hour or two just to be on the site if something happened. And that's all I would like to talk about. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker is Mr. Curly Scott. Remember to state your name and the group you represent.
My name is Curly Scott, and I represent Concerned Citizens Group. I come on behalf of the Concerned Citizens Group. Our group, first of all, is concerned about all city school students. It's just that we have put more emphasis on our black students because of their failures concerning school curriculums, which is the totality of all students' experience that occurred in our educational process. The process is fractured. In our opinion, the fracture is a result of many things, but the burden falls mostly on the school board. But by the board not putting the concerned citizens' grievances on their agenda, which are real, unfair complaints, this board should be very, very serious. This school board should be worthy of its existence. That means the ability for an entity to interact with physical or mental reality. Existence is a state of being or reality in contrast to non-existence or non-being. For the board to exist, it must have a purpose. Failing students must be its 100% concern. This board does not reflect that concern. The result speaks for itself. Where is the trying and the trusting and walking in good works? What message is this board sending out in today's culture? By turning its back on the failing black students or any failing students, you are affecting the future of our society. Ask yourselves, have we truly done our best to help? What happened to the No Child Left Behind initiative? Where is this board's faith and belief in its purpose and job description? Do you all truly believe what our black students are trash thrown away? Actions and results speaks volumes. Concern speaks volumes concerning our Creator. As a sergeant in the Army, I trained and taught young men and women discipline, self-control, requiring rules to be obeyed, and the ability to keep working towards difficult goals. Each board member here should have all those abilities, but most of all, being in your positions should be considered an honorable one, a title indicating distinction, especially given to judges and certain high officials. All board members should use their position to make sure all students get the best opportunity for a good education. If you all fall short, the students fall short. We should pray, and we all know what to pray for. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, sir. Our next speaker is McKinley Marshall, Excellence in Education. When you come up, state your name and the group you represent.
Good afternoon to everyone. My name is McKinley Marshall, and I'm representing a group called Children for Excellence in Education. This is a special group because this group consists of 16 to 18 members. This group is very dear to me. They are my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and my great-great-grandson who will be entering into this educational system within the next 3 years. I come today because I am concerned about the excellence in education that used to exist in the Lynchburg school system. It's just like a house. A house is built from the foundation up to the roof. And if you don't have a good foundation, you're not going to have a steady house. Educational pillars that have made education in Lynchburg a wonderful place to be. We're talking about people like Dr. Paul Monroe. We're talking about Carl B. Hutchinson Sr. We're talking about William G. Gordon. We're talking about Clarence W. C. We're talking about Mr. L.H. McHugh. We're talking about Dr. James H. Taylor. We're talking about the Reverend Dr. Hayward Robinson, Jr. We're talking about Mrs. Pauline Maloney, Mrs. Yvonne Ferguson, and Mrs. Pearl Barnett. These people were pillars that made excellent education when I was in school. I want to fast forward now to current times. Dr. Spagnola, Dr. McKendrick, Dr. Braband. We lost our excellence in education when they were heading up our system. I hate to say it, but some time ago we had an evaluation of our school system, and they found several deficiencies wrong, and they made it a mandate to correct these mistakes. Excuse me. However, what has happened in the last 7 to 9 years has really been basically a stalemate. Nothing has really been come out of this evaluation that has been made public to the public. Ethel Reeves was appointed by Dr. Braband to oversee these problems and report the progress or degress to all. No such information came to light. As of today, Ms. Reeves no longer is in the administration, and the problem still exists. Dr. Edwards has left, and we now have a new superintendent to face and solve a 9-year mandate list of problems in our public education system. Even 2 counties were evaluated at that same time. They both have reported progress because they were evaluated. I do not want any of my grandchildren or great-grandchildren or great-great-grandchildren get a lesser education than I got 65 years ago when I left the system. So I ask that you be a solution to the problem or resign from the board and let someone interested in excellence for all public school children. After all, when you are rated 122 out of 131 systems, you only have 9 steps to fall down. It's really, really a hard thing to say this, but you know, we should all look in the mirror sometime at ourselves. I remember someone told me some time ago, when you can't face yourself in the mirror, then you know you're not doing everything right. It's unfortunate that this particular board and this particular superintendent has to pick up the pieces left behind by previous superintendents and previous boards. So at this time, I simply want to say, I hope that you will look at this problem and do something seriously about this problem that exists from that mandated evaluation of a few years ago. I thank you for your time and your patience, and I say blessings to all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Marshall. Our next speaker is Danette McCain, speaking as an individual.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I'm Danette McCain, speaking for myself. Research tells us that systems get the outcomes that they're designed to get. And they will consistently give you the same outcomes unless you do something different. And unfortunately, Lynchburg City Schools right now is an example of that. The outcomes from your standardized testing are consistently low. And when you think about why that continues to be the case, 3 reasons come to mind. The first one is that you don't know how bad things are. But we know that's not true. 122 out of 131, bottom 10% for Lynchburg City Schools. You know that number. You don't care. Now, I don't assume to know your hearts or your minds, would never do that. But I have seen actions. And when a school board member makes a motion to put student achievement on the standing monthly agenda, and you unanimously vote against it, that action seems to show that you don't care. Now, there may have been other reasons that we weren't privy to if we watched it on YouTube, as I did. But the issue I heard was there are already things in place to take care of that. So if there are already things in place, we're back to where we started, which is the system is getting the outcomes that it's designed to get, which means you all are kind of stamping the approval for that. I think the last one is you just don't know what to do to solve the problem. And that might be fair. So what we do when we don't know what to do is continue to do what we've always done, and then we continue to get the same results. I did notice on June 30th, there's a community forum looking for volunteers and partnerships, and I think that's amazing. But if there has been no assessment of what the needs are and why there has been no significant change in how students are performing, then you're asking people to come and volunteer to do the same thing that is giving you the same results. So I strongly suggest, offer for you to consider that maybe it's time to make that evaluation that Mr. Marshall and your strategic plan around it available to the community and transparent, and identify where community members, former teachers, people who have a heart for these kids want to step in and help. Or I think the formal request is that you hire an outside consulting group, that you bring on board an outside group who can look at the elements of what's happening in Lynchburg City Schools and make a plan. I think Danny McCain or a designee from his group should be on that committee to choose the group, a parent that they recommend and approve, Carl Luce or someone from the Lynchburg Education Association, and that you all have a plan about this by your July board meeting. The stakes are too high in Lynchburg for the children and their families and for this community. Business doesn't want to come to a place where you're the bottom 10 in the state. The community wants to help. Parents do care, and they'll be looking to see what you do in July. Thank you so much for this opportunity.
Thank you. That concludes our public comment section of our board meeting. Now we have our consent agenda. Understand there may be a question on the consent agenda. Mr. Barron?
Yes, sir. I would like to pull item number 2 off the consent agenda for discussion, please.
Okay. There's a motion to pull.
I don't think it
Second,
requires a motion or a vote. I think I can just pull it off and it just becomes an item on the agenda.
That's correct.
okay. All right, so you want to pull out, what's the title? The,
Number 2, the fiscal year budget adoption
Okay.
to 2027 budget adoption.
do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda with item number 2 removed from the agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Ms. Day?
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Alain,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Gilio,
Yes.
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. We'll open it up for discussion of your motion.
Okay, so we'll just drop it right here on the agenda.
Pardon me?
Is that, we're dropping it right here on the agenda, so we.
We're gonna go ahead and deal with it now so we can move forward. Since it was part of the consent agenda, it won't lose our flow.
So I spoke briefly to Dr. Majid a little bit about this earlier, and as I was just going through the consent agenda, this one, I realized I had a lot of questions about where we are in the budget. I know we had a presentation based on a certain amount approved that I don't think we got that full amount. I know there's some things in the process that are still sort of under development. And so I just wanted to get a little bit of an update as to where we are in this process, what's been approved, what was presented is carrying on and maybe what is not coming along, those kinds of things. And so just create some transparency around the budget process.
Okay, before you.
Oh, okay.
Just so you know, she's gonna give you the numbers and the and the sequential that took place, but the ordinance was already voted on and confirmed by the city council. We don't make the budget. They have already, and the ordinance number is 02600-26-047 is the ordinance they approved for our budget. But she can tell you why the budget is different from what we originally proposed and discussed.
Yes, sir, that'd be great. Thank you.
All right, well, good evening, everyone. If you recall, when we did our budget proposal, when I brought the proposed budget to you all, it was an increase of $4.5 million in local money that we were requesting from city council. What ended up happening was when I recall we all went to their meeting, they went to a meeting, the city manager gave his proposed budget, which showed us receiving not the 4.5 million, but the 2.1 million. We had a joint meeting with city council as well, where we talked about the 2.1 million of what they were going to give us. I believe I even received a question that night as to, what would I do if we didn't get all of the money? And of course, we still have to serve kids, but I did express we wouldn't have asked for it if we didn't need it. But essentially, where we are now is we received the 2.1 million, and that was the ordinance that Mr. Connor had spoke of, that increase. We do not have a state budget yet, so this is going to be a lot of information. We do not have a state budget yet, but it's my understanding the city went ahead and approved what they're going to give us for next fiscal year. And of course, whenever they approve it, it has to come back to you all to approve. And then when the state budget comes, we're going to have to come right back and do that again once we get the state funding. But for us, what they've approved is to give us the 2.1 million. Right now, to tell you what that includes, or what that will cover, that covers the 2% increase, and that's what we were looking at. We do recognize if the state budget lands at a 3% increase, that's going to be some continued conversation with the city manager and deputy city manager, so that we could go from there. So with that 2.1 million, that's all it really covers, is the 2%. So what we do know, though, they gave us $661,000 that was some one-time funds, and so that's just going to be one time for next school year, next fiscal year. And that was going to cover the school-level purchase services for special education, and then some private transportation needs for special ed for next year. And Mr. Barron, it is about $100,000 that will cover some building maintenance supplies for and some repairs for the expansion of our alternative learning program. But it won't cover personnel for that. We have to do some internal shifts in-house. So that's essentially, if I miss anything, Sonia, let me know, but that's essentially why it's back to us tonight, because they approved what they're gonna give us on May 26th, ahead of the state budget, because we don't know when we hope by June 30th is when that's coming. But if it does not, they went ahead and moved forward with their portion, and then you all would have to approve that.
My understanding is the Senate has approved there, and the House, the State House, has delayed the 18th once again.
Yeah.
That came out today that they've moved it, so we still don't know where they're at on state budget.
Yeah. And it really causes a hardship for school divisions. I mean, I'm honestly, oh, and one other thing it does not cover, because I've received some questions about this. I've been getting a lot of questions of when we get our budget, because they saw that city council approved their portion, they said, are we gonna get the $20 an hour? Or, and the 53, and the only thing we can do with this 2.1 is cover that 2% increase for staff. We won't be able to cover those changes, and that's 2% for staff and the benefits as well, that encompasses that. Does that help?
Yes, thank you for sharing all of that. Like I said, sorry, it's a little bit go there for me, but I just know if I have a lot of questions looking over this. I imagine a lot of people looking in probably have at least as many questions, and so I just wanted to give some transparency to this. I appreciate you giving us an explanation.
No, not a problem, and honestly, they're good questions. This budget process has been ongoing for some time now, so, and with city council giving their ordinance, we wanted to make sure that we followed up and brought it to you all for a vote.
Would you say that covering that one item is the majority of the money's expense, or is there any additional monies that you're going to be able to use for the list of things that you wanted to accomplish with the 4.5 million?
I would say, so for the 2.1, it's only going to cover that. Of course, we're always looking internally in terms of being resourceful. How can we make adjustments with things so that we can try to cover some of the other areas, but we're not going to be able to cover everything.
That's what I thought I heard, that it's only covering one item out of
Yes.
everything that you asked the
Yes, sir.
4.5 million for. You've got one item that's covered by the 2.1 million.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Yes, sir.
That is too bad. And all we can do is revisit the urge to city council to remember that we go over the budget and we ask for the things that we need, not just the things that we would like or want or desire, but things that we need to function correctly at a higher level than previous years, because things like insurance go up and there are uncontrollable costs. I can see the great value of having a fully funded ask from the city schools. So let's remember that
Yeah.
and just remind them. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay,
I have a question. So, just for clarity, there's like a formula, if I'm correct, between state, city, and different things of that nature.
Yes, sir.
How does that formula affect localities versus the state, and how much that localities are, or should give to, depending on what the state gives, being that the city has already, so to speak, given funds, but the state hasn't?
So we have and I'll let Sonia join in as well, but there's a local composite index, and the state does their formula based on how they feel that locality, and I don't say feel, but their figures that go into it, their ability to pay. And then the state, like that direct aid template that we had showed, and I know it was months and months ago, but it'll show like our ADM, our average daily membership for the students that we actually get state funding for. And that's how they base it off of looking at a local composite index. And then so for example, so our ADM, we may have 7,000 students, but our ADM may only be 6,200 students. So we only get money and funding for that 6,200. Because some of those other students, like CSA students, pre-K, you don't get that ADM funding for. And they look at that locality's ability to pay plus that ADM, and they determine at the state level what they're going to give us, and then they also say, at a minimum, what the locality has to pay, have to give us, yes.
I also have a direct definition that gives a little bit more insight. It's the Virginia K through 12 education is funded through a hybrid system known as the Standards of Quality, SOQs.
Oh, yeah.
So the formula first determines the total baseline cost required to provide a basic education statewide, and then splits that funding between the state and local. And that funding is 55% to 45%. 55% state, 45% local. The SOQ determines the foundational cost of educating a student, and it calculates the minimum required resources such as staffing ratios, instructional materials, and support operations mandated by the state. Well, it also has an add-on. The state also provides additional funding outside of the SOQ, such as the at-risk add-on, Virginia Preschool Initiative, and per-pupil infrastructure funds. But the second part of this is what the superintendent mentioned, the LCI, the Local Composite Index. This indicates exactly how much of the SOQ cost your specific locality must pay compared to other localities. It is then recalculated every 2 years and determines a district's ability to pay using 3 factors: real estate property values, adjusted gross income, and taxable retail sales. Those 3 things are the undergirding of the LCI.
Right, right. And the reason I ask, because there are a lot of our community that don't understand all that, and I think that the more times that we can vocalize, and because you hear people that say, oh, the school's getting all this lottery money, blah, 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 have a better understanding of exactly the balance that comes into how the schools are funded and why we, are really asking for what we're asking for.
Can I
glad- oh.
ask one more question for you? We're funded on SOQ, but not all of our employees are SOQ employees.
No.
Can you explain the difference and why that's a?
So when you start thinking about standards of quality, they may say, and they'll put people even in half a person, right? So they will say, one of our middle schools only needs to have 1 principal and a 0.5 assistant principal. When we know, looking at population, that we need more staff than that. So anything that's beyond what they deem as appropriate, and I believe the SOQs, it's been like since the 80s or something. It was a long time ago since they've changed it, made any adjustments. So it was based on how things were many years ago, decades ago, and then it's never adjusted.
Right, and that's one of the things that we run into because we have employees that are outside of, but are necessary, but they're outside of the SOQ formula, but we still need that staff to accomplish what we need to accomplish. Do I have a motion to go ahead and approve this aspect of the consent agenda? Is there any more discussion before I?
Yeah, I don't mind making the motion, but I do want to point out very quickly, just for those who are paying attention, that first of all, the priority was personnel. And I believe personally that's a great allocation of the funds that we have to make sure that our teachers and staff are well taken care of. The other thing I want to point out is, scarcity can spur innovation, and I hope those who are paying attention to the powers that be recognize that just because our team is able to be resourceful and find ways to make things work doesn't mean we don't still need funding to do the thing at an optimal level. And, the good investment is you put money where things are actually working and when people are actually responding with the money. I would hope that we would be able to put more money towards that in the future. So I move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Ms. Day?
Mr. Arlene,
Yes.
Mr. Barron,
Yes.
Mr. Connor,
Yes.
Mr. Jalil,
Yes,
Dr. Farmer,
Yes.
Mr. Poe.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Okay. Financial reports. Ms. Jammies, the floor is yours.
Good evening, Vice Chair Connor, members of the school board, and Dr. Majette. Thank you once again for the opportunity to address you regarding LCS financials. You have before you the May 31st, 2026 month-end financials. As of May, it marks 91.67% of the fiscal year passing. The percent of revenues collected versus original appropriation stands at 90.69%. And the amount of expenditures versus original appropriation stands at 89.93 year-to-date. The total expenditures inclusive of encumbrances equates to 100.44%. So our notable variances in our expenditures, which are the ones that are greater than 100%, all have to do with compensation and benefits. And the reason that they are a notable variance is because at the beginning of the year, we encumber all of our salaries, and we automatically tick off those salaries as a payday happens. So because at this point in the fiscal year, we still have 3 pay periods left to take care of, there are still encumbrances on those compensation lines. So once all of those 3 pay periods have been satisfied, then we will unencumber, and hopefully there will be existing finances and funding in the budget at the end of that we can use to facilitate and finish up the fiscal year. So moving on to our statement of revenues.
Well, just before.
Yes, sir.
So that .44 equates to how much in real dollars at this time?
So the 100.44.
Not the 100. The 100 is, how much is the 44 over the 100?
We still have $10 million encumbered. So that is sending the year-to-date expenses over by .44.
Right.
So that $10 million, once those 3 payrolls are satisfied, that .44 will be unencumbered and put back into the budget, so to speak. Does that make sense? Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
that's my question. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Moving on to the statement of revenue, the total amount of revenue received year-to-date as of May is $108,057,833, or 90.69% of the allocations. Of the total state revenues equated to 86.28. Federal revenues equated to 57.78, and local revenues equated to 100%. They are the winner. Miscellaneous and charges for services collection rates stand at 125.40% and 64.20% respectively. So are there any questions on the revenues?
Just to make sure, you said we're at what percent of the year?
We are at 91.67% of the year.
So far, we're at 90.69 as far as,
That is correct, as of May.
we're tracking pretty close to even.
That is correct. In June, we will receive additional state revenues that they wait till the end of the fiscal year to allocate. So we will receive additional revenue in June that will push up this 90.69%. So, moving on to the summary report. In May, LCS claims totaled a negative $2,060,187.92. That's an increase in claims of $507,770 from the prior month. This brings our total year-to-date balance to a negative $3,078,707. So when the payroll and benefits are unencumbered and we have satisfied all of our payrolls, the money that comes back from that encumbrance we use to try to true up this Anthem payment, these claims, as much as possible. So while I don't think we will have the funds to cover the whole $3 million, which is why we keep a reserve over at the city to help us during these times of high claims. We will be able to cover some of that with funding that is unencumbered from our salary and benefits. I will say it's been an excessive claim year. Not every year is as excessive as this year has been, but our last bill was $933,000 in claims, one bill for the fiscal year. So that therein, you can see why we are in a negative, because our premium that we're bringing in, our revenues that we're bringing in, are having a hard time sustaining the amount of claims that are coming in. So we're working at the last Finance and Facilities Committee. We're working on some strategies to reduce healthcare costs for next year. Great opportunities, I believe, for the staff to be able to make a choice on what they want. And so we'll be unveiling that once the Finance and Facilities Committee gives us the go-ahead to do that. And so hopefully next year we'll be in a better position with health insurance, after weathering this very high claim year. So that actually is the end of my report. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to entertain them.
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
A couple questions. And first, I appreciate the work that you do on all of this and keeping us up to date. And I appreciate the facilities and the Finance Facilities Committee for their work on this as well. One of my questions was sort of what we're looking to do to mitigate this trend. But the question I want to ask first is, are we looking at more claims than normal, or are we looking at more expensive claims than normal, or is it a combination of both?
So we have, Anthem refers to, they provide us a list of high-cost claimants. And so there are a significant number of high-cost claimants, but they're, as far as all of our subscribers, they're a smaller portion, but their costs are greater by the nature of the things that they're battling. So, and the expense of healthcare these days. So we only have maybe 50 subscribers out of all of our subscribers that are really running up that cost for us. So we're praying for them that they will get better.
Certainly. And how much of this is just due to just rising costs of things in general, and how that impacts the medical area?
The majority of it is the rising cost, associated with rising costs, but also the healthcare need, the issues that they're facing are not a lower level expense helping them. It is significant health issues that they are having to get treated, which is more expensive type procedures and operations, and that's why we have a few people that owns the majority of that costs.
Okay.
Does that answer?
The last question is.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. You talked about when the payrolls run, those funds are unencumbered will help offset. But what else should we expect during the summer months as far as claims go? Are claims going to continue through the summer? Do we see a continued trend in that regard, or what? What do we look like looking over the next couple of months?
So usually we get increased claims during summer months when people are out of work and doing their fun things. However, I can't dictate what that's going to be. My hope is that those high-cost claimants got the services they needed during this fiscal year, and next fiscal year they're on the mend and starting to do better, and we have less of a cost. The thing about health insurance is it runs on a calendar year. right? Not a fiscal year. So we have budgeted in next fiscal year, starting July 1st, a new pot of money to cover claims associated with that. And then in January, we will look at, after the approval of finance and facilities, we will look at offering a diversified plan so that one of the plans is much cheaper for people who are in shape and don't visit the doctor a lot and things like that. And then we have a medium and a significant coverage plan so that we can diversify and try to help save some funding for us in the future.
Okay, thank you so much for all that.
Absolutely.
Mr. Jalil?
Yes, sir. You don't, I'm not suggesting anything, but do you happen to have a data set of these claimants coming from the first 5 years of an educator's career, the last 5 years of educator's career, or other demographics we can look at, numbers?
So some of our educators have been here a really long time, pre the company that we have. I could try to find out what, from when we hired Anthem, right? I think that was in 2017, 2016. Before that, it was another company, but I can look at Anthem's, I can ask them for their claims from a aggregate. Obviously, I can't give out individual claim information, but we can look at it from aggregate. But the issue with that is me, I'm not even privy to some of the claim information, so I can't pinpoint what employee got what claim, because there are, HIPAA and laws against that. So we can try, but I can't promise you that it would be as drilled down as you would like for usable information. That makes sense?
Right. We can't drill down. I just would like to identify some markers that are generic that could be helpful to preventative maintenance of these things. If it's always a PE teacher, because they're always outside, well, they need extra bottles of water because of heat stroke, all those things. You know what I mean? There's things you can see. If it's, well, we don't want to go
From employment related, that would be not necessarily health. That would be workers' comp. So if something happened to them while they were on their job, doing their job, that becomes a workers' comp coverage, not a health insurance coverage. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation.
Absolutely.
So, the way I understand it, the way you're explaining it, is unusual and different things of that nature. Also, in the same sentence, it seems like it could possibly be a trend. So, what are we doing to prepare for that trend? And I did hear how you look towards, the next fiscal year to offset things, but if it becomes a trend, what are we putting in place other than prayer to make sure that we can offset that?
Yes, sir. We, as I mentioned, we are looking at diversifying our portfolio to offer different levels to our staff. Not only that, in 2028 or next fiscal year, 2027, we will start looking at going out to bid for different carriers and see what types of premiums that they can provide us, potentially, hopefully, a cost savings bid, but health insurance is expensive anyway you look at it. So we have a series of things that we're looking at. We're doing some analysis with the.
Speak to that if you want.
Sure, absolutely, sir.
Okay. It'll be coming out of finance and facilities and probably be voted on by the board in July. So it can be rolled out for open enrollment in October?
Yeah, November, yes.
November. So we're looking at some right now, everybody's under the exact same plan. If you're an employee, you're under the, and we're gonna finalize it in finance and facilities and bring it to the board in July. And we're looking at a three-tiered approach so that the young, healthy person that's in great shape, that jogs and can choose a plan that fits their lifestyle. Some are older people like myself that might need more of an intensive program would be able to look at something more in that. And then there's a middle tier, and each one of those have a cost and benefit to them, of course, but there's always risk. And the thing with health insurance, we don't know what the risk factors are going to be. It's not trips and falls that we're dealing with. We're talking about cancer, high level diabetics, what do you call it, ALS, multiple sclerosis, all those types of intense, high cost illnesses.
Right.
And those people, and we have to be careful with, even how we talk about it, because they deserve their privacy. But
Right.
but that's what those. It's not trips and falls. It's high level illnesses that require a high degree and high cost of maintenance and.
Right, and I think with Mr. Jalil, there could be some help with that in terms of figuring out some areas where we can help, and possibly are we offering some preventative measures, like, and I'll give an example. Say somebody that has maybe diabetes, where lifestyle changes could come into play. We're offering gym incentives and different things, especially for maybe somebody's in the middle of the road, but 10 years from now may be at that point, and offering some lifestyle changes by offering different measures, like whether that's a discount to a local gym or different things of that nature, could alleviate some of that burden. Maybe not all, but.
I can actually speak to that. Anthem provides us a certain amount of funding every year for our own employee wellness program. And so that wellness program is run by our staff, and they get together and come up with these opportunities. Right now, they're working on an opportunity for personal trainers. So if our employees wanted a personal trainer, Anthem provides some funding to offset what that cost would be. Gym memberships, we have a gym membership to YMCA, and they offset the cost to that. So that we do have a wellness program that we operate within our employee level, if an employee wants to take advantage of it, we provide funding to help them take advantage of it. So,
You know what I would like to see with that is one department, such as a certain staff in a school and the administrative staff, and versus another department, and see how many participants entered that, and then that's measured or that's counted. And so this season or this calendar year, we've had 18 teachers participate, but there were 30 bus drivers that participated. So the bus drivers get an incentive and a certificate of some kind of memorial on that. That's the wrong term, but if we could give them an incentive, a lot of adults are like big kids, and there's nothing wrong with a little carrot, right? What is it? The sweet draws you more than the bitter, than the acid, right? So some kind of incentive that allows for them to see tangibly that there are other people doing this. Not just it's offered to everyone generically, and you can silently do it, but if there are 40 or 50 teachers doing this, and in one school, and only 20 in another school as well, so not just within the school buildings, but if we know it in another school, I think that can motivate people to see, hey, let's get 100% of our faculty and staff on board and do this, and there'll be all sort of creative ideas
Yes,
to get them together.
I can talk to the Wellness Committee about some competitive incentives. Yes, sir.
Yeah, we had talked a little bit, I think last time about some of them that were eligible for transitioning maybe from Medicare or into Medicare. Could you address that a little bit and see if that was said to be implemented, if that would sort of ease the pain of the system?
So as part of our next open enrollment process, we will provide some educational type classes for individuals who are senior in age, just to apprise them and educate them on what that transition would look like. So we already have that actually scheduled for our next open enrollment in November. So we just want to keep all of our employees educated on all of the life opportunities that they will be getting.
And that being said, do you feel like that would have an impact on the system to ease the pain a little bit?
So we can't encourage people to leave a health care coverage plan to move to a federal or state coverage plan, but we can definitely educate them on the benefits and what the process would be once they are eligible to move into that realm. So, yes.
One more thing.
sir.
What do you consider professional liability coverage?
Professional liability coverage is insurance that we pay for the administration and for the.
That's not part of the health care cost.
That's not part of the health, that's liability insurance. And so it's really public officials' liability. So it covers school board members and administration from any type of claims that may be leveraged against them. But that's public official liabilities, and we get liability insurance, and we get that through VACOR.
VACOR.
Yes, sir.
There's one that's a robust coverage specifically for educators. And it's very generic, but we're not going to, name different providers. I just like to know what you consider it and what's available for our teachers, because there's one specifically for teachers. So
our liability plan covers our teachers, so yes, through VACOR. It's not public officials, it's general liability through our plan, but public officials would be at the school board level, so to cover that.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you,
Yes, sir.
Janice.
Yes, sir.
Okay, old business.
All right.
Dr. Majette, you're gonna tell us a little bit more about our strategic plan.
Yes, absolutely. And Austin's going to pull up the implementation plan first. But good evening, everyone. Tonight, I'm really pleased to present the Lynchburg City Schools 2026 through 2031 strategic plan, and then the strategic plan implementation framework. What you have on the screen now is the implementation framework. And this serves as sort of an operational companion to the full strategic plan that we have. It answers the question, how will we get there? Through the 5 strategic goals. It establishes direction and priorities that'll guide our work over the next 5 years. And it's providing those detailed strategies and projects, responsibilities, systems, and monitoring structures that are going to help guide our daily work. So this is just an implementation guide. We have the full plan, so people will be able to access that as well. But if you want to see just the quick guide of what we're doing, that's there. He's going to switch to the other document because I think most people want to see what are our goals. And I know we've talked about it many times, but again, all right, starting at the beginning,
Go back.
on the first page.
What's our mission, vision statement?
Okay, all right, I got it. So, this is his favorite thing to do. You see the new logo. Austin and his team are working on all of this. It'll be fully branded through everything starting in July. Okay, but you see that and our wonderful children there. So, vision statement, growth, opportunity, success, and our mission to empower students for future success through high-quality instruction, supportive learning environments, and experiences that connect classroom learning to real-world opportunities. And so when you think about these two documents, you think about our mission and vision that really grounds us in the work that we're doing. Yes, absolutely. So as you go through the document, and this will be on the website, it's going to list the goal, the objectives for each goal for people to see. And it's just a quick snapshot if someone just wants to say, what are the goals for Lynchburg City Schools? They can go there and see that. And then if they want a deeper read, they can look at the implementation plan, and then they'll be able to look through the full plan should they choose to do so. But I want to kind of tell you where we are and what this all looks like. So last week, our leadership team, I know we've been working with Mr. Connor, Mr. Barron from the beginning, and starting off with choosing a vendor, and then I've given updates, various meetings, and we're at this process now. So last week, we had our Leadership Institute. So our leadership team, we started looking at the work of developing a deeper understanding of the strategic plan, and that's going to be a lot of our work throughout the summer as well. We, looked at goals, objectives, strategies, and then just start thinking about what are those systems and structures that we're going to have to develop, how we're going to monitor this. So over the summer, this work is in your board docs. This summer, that work will continue. So our principals, division leaders, departments, we're going to engage in planning sessions, professional learning, which we had a lot of that last week. And then any other alignment activities to just start looking at those goal-setting conversations that we can ensure that everyone understands the plan, because it's not enough to just have the plan in place, but we do all have to have an understanding of it before we can move forward with it. I know it's not on the screen, but it is in your board docs, so everybody will be able to see that. And then public, it's online on board docs. So a lot of the work, and I know that this past year, there we go. So I know that this past year, I always say, hey, that was my first year. But in terms of the strategic plan, next year is actually year one of strategic plan. So that's a baseline year. That's the time that we're going to focus on gathering our information. We have to establish benchmarks. We have to develop systems and structures and have those clear expectations for how we're going to measure this. We can't simply just say, okay, now we have a plan, we're going to do all the things. How are we going to measure it? And so now the plan is in place, that'll be the work this year, because we can't live it if we rush this and move too fast on it. And that was something even I had to remind myself, because I like to go ahead, hey, let's move on, but we really have to take the time to do that. So I think, as people see this and they look at it, I think it may give the impression of, okay, they have the plan, all these things are supposed to change. We've got to figure out how to measure it. Now we have to go ahead and get all those systems in place so that we can do this correctly. And it does take time. It's not a snap of a finger. So it is going to take time. But once we have that foundation there, then you can start looking at what's that long-term success going to be. So again, we do anticipate some early progress, some successes, but I really want to make sure that we have that infrastructure in place to carry out this plan appropriately. But just wanted to, before I get into thank yous, it really does reflect our commitment of just we have our vision, but we now have to take this into action, and so that it's actionable steps. It started with ideas, and I remember our first meetings and talking with vendors and what we wanted to see, to now implementation and that planning so that we can have measurable outcomes for our kids. So just really excited about all of the work ahead, just grateful for this opportunity to serve the students here at LCS. Thankful, appreciative to you all as a school board, students, staff, family, community partners. We've had a lot of people who've given their time, their expertise. They've given a lot of feedback and perspective through the process. And it just really reflects a collaborative effort and shared commitment for our future in Lynchburg City Schools. So just wanted to unveil this to you all tonight, and just another thank you to our communications team for taking this and bringing this to life in full color for people to have it.
What are the other goals?
Yes, yep, there you go.
Goal 4.
And 5. So you had 5 goals. Okay. All
Any
right.
questions on the strategic plan? Board members that maybe didn't participate as closely as some of us.
So the growth plan that you have, yes.
I thought you were going to say our vision statement, growth, opportunity, and success.
Yes. Is part of that what you're still expanding on, or you're gonna, you just, that's what you're gonna focus on and teach to the people consistently? There's 3 words.
Yes, for the vision, so that people not only can repeat it, but they actually understand what it means. So that's why we'll take the time and make sure that everyone has a good understanding of the strategic plan, but not just to memorize it, but to be able to live it.
Which is essential, I think, because of the comments we've heard as well, that, what is your vision? What is the plan? And what can we look for to expect? I would have put, an and in between there, and success, just to make it, more, but otherwise, I see the value of it.
Well, I'd like to say something. We did get some feedback, some negative feedback from our silent board meeting, work session we had, where we spent a lot of time, where we wrote out our thoughts and ideas, and everything in this plan. You can go back, if you remember what ideas you wrote, I bet you can go through this plan and you will find it in the plan. They took the time to integrate all of our abstract thoughts and put them together in a plan that we can roll out for the next 5 years.
When I saw the word entrepreneurship, I was encouraged. That's the only thing I contributed and feel it. No,
We had a lot of people that wanted to see us go, with career building, coming out. Not everybody's going to college. We want to see people go into trades and go into entrepreneurship, and all that is integrated in this plan. I think it's a great plan.
Yeah.
Mr. Barron,
Did great.
any comments? You're muted.
Okay, there you go.
I did get quite an echo when I talk on here, so forgive me if I stutter my. But no, I just want to say I appreciate the process, and that there were so many people engaged. I talked to so many different administrators for different campuses, all the different campuses, all of the different teachers were involved, and involving the community in this process. It is going to take all of us, and this gives us something that hopefully everybody has put their hands on, fingerprints on. And Dr. Majette, when did you say this was going to be available for the public to be able to review?
Probably after this meeting. I give Austin a couple days just to get everything up on the site. But yes, sir.
Okay. And if there's any channels that we could, send out communications to let people know that it's live and accessible, I just encourage our community, and certainly any of us in this room here and on the school board, we need to be very familiar with this plan. And we know our administrative team is going to be up to speed on what all of these things that they've set in place, because they're going to be building everything. I know Dr. Majette has talked about anytime they have something on the school board agenda, that you're going to tie it to specific parts of the strategic plan to make sure that we're staying aligned with what we said we're going to do. But our school board, we got to know this like backwards and forwards as much as possible. And as any community members that are invested, stakeholders are invested, business owners in the community should know this plan, so we can best work together to implement it and make it come to fruition. So thank you all for the work that you put into it, and I'm excited to see us move forward with it.
One of the things that when we had Leadership Institute last week, and we did get a special preview of our logo and everything on our presentations. Austin helped us out. But for every day of Leadership Institute, we always had the mission and vision, of course, because that's the foundation of what we do. And then we had the alignment of what strategic plan goal it aligned with, so that all of us in the room could just start that process of speaking that same language. And understanding all the work we do should align to the mission and vision and to the strategic plan. So yes, sir, we've started that process.
All right, thank you. Okay, next we have new business, the School Health Advisory Board presentation with Zoe Whitcomb-Stokes.
Good evening, Board. Dr. Majette, thank you for letting us present. I am Zoe. I am one of the Student Services Supervisors, and I am also our liaison for the Health Advisory. And if you're not aware, every year the school board gives the health advisory a task to look at trends, issues, recommendations. This year it was on vaping, and as we know, that it's a big thing in Lynchburg City Schools, but it's across the nation too. So we have some wonderful guest presenters for you guys tonight. But first this is Jan Davis. She is with CBAR, and she can do so. Y'all got on opposite sides of me here. She's also with CBAR. I'm going to allow them to do the presentation and introduce our other guest presenters, but also anybody else on the health advisory stand, please. This is some of our folks. They put countless numbers of personal hours into doing all the research and coming up with presentations and stuff. So I would like to say thank you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for the opportunity to present this evening. My name is January Davis. I'm the Program Manager of Prevention and Wellness Services at Horizon Behavioral Health, and I've had the privilege of serving as the chair of this year's School Health Advisory Board. Tonight's presentation shares I also have with me this evening Tegan Dusso, our CVAR Coalition Coordinator. So tonight's presentation shares the findings and recommendations developed by the 2026 School Health Advisory Board, also known as the SHAB, related to student vaping in Lynchburg City Schools. So next slide, please. Our presentation tonight is divided into two sections: understanding the problem, which is the first section, which I will be presenting, and then the recommendations, which Tegan will be presenting tonight. Next slide. So why are we here? Student vaping continues to negatively impact student health, academics, and our school environments. In response, you all have asked us to review this issue and provide recommendations. The SHAB this year reviewed local data. We also obtained staff and student perspectives and evidence-based practices. We also considered the individual, community, and environmental factors that contribute to youth vaping. The recommendations shared tonight are grounded in that review. But first, we want to take time to hear directly from the students impacted by these issues.
Hi, we are Hype Club. My name is Brianna Sparrow, and I'm a rising junior at Heritage High School.
Hi, my name is Yanni Jackson, and I am a rising junior at Heritage High School.
Hi, my name is Adriana Sparrow, and I'm a rising junior at Heritage High School.
Hi, my name is Juliet Manning. I'm a rising 11th grader at Heritage High School.
Hi, my name is Ozaria Felix, and I'm a 2026 graduate from EC Glass.
We are here because vaping is affecting students we know in the classrooms we sit in.
Vaping isn't just a nuisance or a health issue. It affects learning, focus, athletics, mental health, and the overall school environment.
We are constantly influenced by advertising, social media, movies, and music. Therefore, we need knowledge and tools to make good choices.
We are taught how bad addiction is, but we are not taught how to stop. We want our schools to be places where we feel supported, heard, and protected from the things that can harm us.
Most students make healthy choices every day. We want policies, practices, and investments that will help keep it that way.
Aren't y'all so proud of them? I am. Next slide, please. So today's nicotine products are fundamentally different from previous generations of tobacco products. It's not the same things that we grew up with. These products are designed to appeal to youth through sweet flavors, attractive designs, and extremely high nicotine concentrations. And as you guys know, because the adolescent brain is still developing, young people are especially vulnerable to addiction. Some of these disposable devices contain up to 50,000 puffs, exposing youth to nicotine levels equivalent to multiple cartons of cigarettes. Next slide. So nicotine use affects more than just physical health. It can interfere with attention, learning, memory, emotional regulation, and decision-making during their critical stages of development. And this has a direct impact on students' academic success. It can also impact their mental health, athletic performance, their relationships, and just the overall school climate. Next slide. Our 2024 Lynchburg Youth Survey shows significant concerns related to youth vaping. Nearly half of 12th graders surveyed reported lifetime use of electronic vapor products. More than 1/3 reported purchasing vape products directly from a retail store. And only one half of students perceive great risk with vaping. Next slide. The purpose of this slide here is to emphasize that the responsibility for addressing youth vaping does not fall on Lynchburg City Schools alone. Rather, it highlights that schools are responding to a broader community issue that students encounter both inside and outside of the school setting. Addressing youth vaping requires all of us working together as a community. While schools cannot regulate retail sales, schools remain one of the most important places for prevention, education, intervention, and student support. Next slide. So we took some time to speak with students and staff in Lynchburg City Schools. There were 52 students amongst Dunbar Middle School, EC Glass, and Heritage High Schools that participated in our focus groups. Across schools, students consistently describe vaping as highly visible, a normalized behavior, addictive, and difficult to avoid. Perhaps one of the most important things that our students emphasized was that fear of punishment can prevent them from seeking help. So on our next slide, we talk about why do students vape? Students consistently describe vaping as more than just a rule-breaking behavior. They identify 4 primary drivers, including stress and anxiety, peer influence, easy accessibility, as well as addiction. Their responses suggest that effective solutions must address the contributing factors to vaping, not simply the behavior itself. So next slide, when and where does vaping happen? Both students and staff identify bathrooms as the primary location where vaping occurs. Other areas included locker rooms and hallways and stairwells and buses and after-school events. Specifically, those staff explained that schools face multiple monitoring challenges, including the privacy limitations that exist in bathrooms, the crowded hallways during transitions, the devices being so small and easy to conceal, and the delayed response times after vape detectors are activated. So on the next slide, students and staff acknowledge that rules exist and that consequences occur. However, they also identify several challenges, including inconsistent enforcement, delayed consequences, and concerns that suspension alone is ineffective. Students reportedly shared that fear of punishment can prevent students from seeking help. Importantly, neither students nor staff recommended eliminating accountability. Instead, they supported balancing discipline with education, intervention, and support.
Good evening. We'll now go into the recommendations that the School Health Advisory Board provided the school board this year. Next slide, thank you. In response to the clear message that we need a balanced approach when addressing vaping, we looked at 3 key areas: policy and reporting, education and awareness, and support and intervention. Each of the following recommendations are grounded in evidence-based public health approaches and schools' best practices. More detailed information can be found in the document provided to the board. Next slide. We will start with policy and reporting. We recommend the development of a regulations document. This will accompany the existing policy that outlines approved prevention, screening, education, intervention, discipline, and support practices. This regulations document will provide a clear framework for responding to vaping incidents. Recommendations for these regulations include clear, consistent disciplinary procedures across all schools to promote equity and consistency for all students, utilization of a validated, evidence-based, brief nicotine-dependent screening tool, implementation of an alternative to suspension intervention, making referrals to cessation support services, process monitoring through expanded data systems to improve communication, continuity of care, and follow-up. And finally, creating opportunities for students to access cessation resources independently on their own without fear of disciplinary action. Next slide. These next two slides will expand on what that framework looks like. Let's review education and awareness recommendations. These are designed to reach students before vaping behaviors actually begin. We prioritize programs that were feasible, sustainable, age-appropriate, and low or no cost. We recommend the following: continuing existing prevention efforts, including the Family Life Curriculum and Too Good for Drugs. We recommend implementing additional evidence-based curriculum resources to strengthen existing efforts and ensure that every student consistently receives prevention messaging. We also recommend expanding awareness and parent outreach strategies through pamphlets, brochures, posters, school announcements, social media, and the LCS website resources. The goal really is to increase awareness and provide students and families with accurate, current, realistic information about vaping and nicotine addiction. Next slide. Finally, let's review the support and intervention recommendations, which are focused on identifying resources available for students who are already vaping or who are struggling with a nicotine dependence. We recommend utilizing the evidence-based brief screening tool called CRAFT to help identify concerns related to substance use and nicotine dependence and to guide intervention decisions. We recommend implementing an alternative to suspension intervention that would provide students education beyond punishment alone. One example is Vape Educate, which you can see on the screen, which has been successfully implemented by the district in the past. Additionally, connecting students and families to cessation support services, many of which are already available through the LCS resource guide. Finally, we recommend providing students with access to evidence-based online, text, and phone support services that can be used independently, and those are listed on the screen as well. The overall goal is to increase access to support while reducing barriers to seeking help. The next slide. The final takeaway, throughout this process, students, staff, and community partners consistently describe youth vaping as a complex issue, and there really is no single solution. Reducing youth vaping will require consistent implementation, student and family support, and strong community partnerships. Next slide. The next steps that we recommend, we recognize that vaping does not exist in isolation. Many of the factors discussed through this presentation, including academic success, stress, mental health concerns, peer influence, barriers to accessing support, are challenges that the schools are navigating more broadly. These recommendations were developed specifically in response to youth vaping, but we know that implementing structured collaborative approaches like this can really help shape how schools respond to a variety of challenges. As a next step, we recommend establishing a collaborative work group to review the feasibility of these recommendations, identify priorities, and determine opportunities for implementation. So in closing, we want to highlight what some of our student leaders are already doing to address this issue. The Hype Club has taken action to reduce youth vaping across our community, and they will conclude our presentation by just sharing with you some of their work.
Over the past 3 years, Hype Club has been working hard to educate peers through the Don't Be a Guinea Pig awareness campaign and the Protect Your Game athlete program.
Most recently, we did a We Check to Protect project designed to reduce youth access to vapes through partnerships with local vape shops and convenience stores.
Tonight, our hope is simple, that every student has the knowledge and support and opportunity to live healthily and succeed academically.
The time is now. Join our efforts to eliminate youth vaping and reduce the impact it is having on academic success and overall student well-being.
Vape-free students learn better and achieve more.
We can work together to protect, educate, and support Lynchburg City School students.
And the last slide, please. So thank you again for your time, attention, and commitment to student health, their wellness, and their academic success. We appreciate the opportunity to share these findings and recommendations, and we welcome any questions or discussion.
I want to go next.
I'm going. Okay, can you put the slide back up with retailers?
Yes.
I need to. I need it to be seen again.
Them blue
So
dots.
we are double the state average in sale rate. And that's just the ones we've caught. And then my second statement is, and I appreciate the whole nicotine and you know, but we're finding that we're getting a whole epidemic level amount of THC vapes. And we'd like to know what the student health advisory is. Are they picking that up in addition to the nicotine?
Yeah, so we, as you can tell, focus primarily on nicotine. We know that THC is actually found in a lot of these vapes, as you stated. And marijuana, similarly to nicotine, I mean, they have different effects, but of course have really detrimental effects on their brain development. We educate a lot on the negative effects of THC use in marijuana, but the main thing is potency right now. The potency varies, and there's actually, we brought vapes down here that are examples of devices that have been confiscated from Lynchburg City Schools, and there's THC vapes in there, so.
Wow.
I think when you think about how do you address THC vapes, you address it the same way that you address nicotine vapes. The drivers aren't different; they're the same. One is just illegal, you know. So I think the things that you would do to support students with nicotine vapes, you would do the same to support students with THC vapes. Definitely different side effects, different consequences, all the things. But I do believe that some of the things that we recommended to address nicotine can also be used to address some of the other concerns you have around THC.
Mr. Poe? I saw you about to jump out your chair. So.
Well, you know, this is something that I've been working on. I've been before council to speak out on the vaping issues, and it was said that they were going to look into it and make it an agenda item. And I went down alone. So the first thing I would like to ask is, because I think we need to make another revisit to council, and having a presence can be more influential, if you will. So I would definitely like to connect to see if any of you all would be interested in going back to make a visit before council, and especially hearing from the young folks, because I think it's important. It's something that's affecting them and their generation. And as Mr. Connor alluded to, we've seen so many unfortunate disciplinary issues, and I pay attention to the slide, and unfortunately, as far as disciplinary actions, some of that you can't get around, especially when it's THC vapes. There are state mandates that basically we have to follow when it comes to disciplinary issues. And unfortunately, you know, regardless of why a student may be vaping, we have to follow those discipline issues. So I'm all about preventions. I've been to middle schools, high schools, spoke to the student body about the initiatives. We launched different initiatives in terms of putting up signage and different things of that nature. So at this point, we're definitely intrigued and interested in seeing what we can do about curbing the issues the epidemic that we're facing, because it is truly an epidemic. And so that's my main focus, because I definitely think our council and our police departments, we can't stop it, but there's no reason why retailers should be selling vapes to minors and different things of that nature. And it's going to take a well-rounded approach from educational resources, targeting parents, you name it, to really approach it. And so, you know, as long as I'm on the board, and I'm just one person, the board moves in unison. But definitely will be, your work is not going unnoticed, and anything I can do to help, I'd be more than willing to do that.
Both the CVAR Coalition and Horizon Behavioral Health have an interest in speaking to City Council. We know there are a lot of changes that are happening in Council right now, so we're trying to figure out the right timing. But Horizon Behavioral Health did invest in a significant study and a financial investment to look at retail access, and we just received the report and plan to use that report to approach council on helping with the retail access as well. And our students did talk about the We Check to Protect campaign. They identified 30 potentially challenging retailers here in our community, both vape shops and retailers that did not pass their compliance checks. And they went out and met with each of them individually, asked them to sign a pledge, which we'll be providing to you guys. And they received very good feedback. If you go into some of those retailers, today, they have all of their stuff up. They say, "We check to protect." They were very responsive to hearing from the young people. So, you know, every little bit helps, and we're working at it, and definitely could use your support. Additionally, I would like to clarify that we did not ask that you not follow discipline procedures. What was said from the students and both the staff was that they understood that there were discipline procedures, but they weren't followed consistently. And so looking at that, and that there be a balance between discipline and actually providing support to students.
Absolutely.
Likewise, I would also like to say that it's not our young people's fault that they're addicted to vapes. It's also not their fault that they're addicted to marijuana and THC. These tobacco retail manufacturers spend oodles of money to target our young people. And unfortunately, some of them have fallen prey to that. And so, no fault of their own, discipline is important, but it's also important that we fight back against the nicotine companies who are really targeting our young people.
This also applies to the social media companies who do the same thing for the bottom line, the purpose of the bottom line. They're Machiavellian. The end justifies the needs. They don't care as much as the child as they do about that dollar that comes in, because they were able to efficiently and effectively reach out and addict the child to the phone or whatever it is. It's very similar to that.
Mr. Arlene had his hand.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Arlene.
Yeah, this one is for maybe some of the young ladies. I would like to know, you know, because I'm assuming that you guys haven't smoked or you haven't vaped. So I'm trying to figure out, could you share with us what type of mechanisms you all have used to be able to say no?
I see a lot of like my friends who do such things like that. I see how it affects them negatively and how their mental health are all like bad and they just are in bad places. So I know that I don't want to be like that. So I use that as encouragement, and it's also encouragement to them. I try to be a role model to them to not do things like that, because that affects them negatively in their athletics and their mental health.
Amen. Could we get some others to speak to it?
I think some people do kind of understand that it's bad, but I don't think that they fully understand the full negative effects of how it'll affect them later in life. So I don't know, for me, I guess scientific evidence or things like that really encourage me to understand that maybe I can't reach goals academically if I was to start, using substances like that.
I don't know about anybody else, but for me to be able to say no, and like the smell of it makes me really nauseous. And even the smell of it, it just doesn't smell like something you would want to smell or taste every day. So for me to be able to say no, it's kind of easy because of the smell. And like also when I see my friends using it, one of my friends had something medically happen to them because they were vaping. And so that helped me say no. and help my other friends when I told them about it to say no as well.
Thank you. Dr. Farmer?
Sure. A couple of thoughts came to mind. One is it is important to get on city council and law enforcement about this issue, because this is a shame. It should not happen. Supply creates demand. It's very simple. If you throw a bunch of gold coins on the floor here, some of them are going to be gone very quickly. So it's unacceptable, and really the people can rise up and make the change. You take it seriously, the squeaky wheel gets the grease. So you've got to get the community out and move the whatever bureaucracy is preventing this from being eliminated, because there's some things you can't do much about, but this is definitely something that can be done if you put the emphasis behind it, because it's unacceptable, it's ridiculous, and it's very clear what's going on. Secondly, there's two things I didn't hear, but that are very relevant. I mean, you may cover it in your trainings and whatnot, but one is, for instance, I've never smoked nicotine or taken vapes or vaping, and I realized that not being addicted to something is a great joy. So another way, an aspect of the positivity of avoiding it and just not, it's not thinking about it, not having any addiction to it, not having any attraction to it, not having any, you have so much more time in your life to do other things, to have other accomplishments, and be an artist and do all sorts of things with your life, because you just don't have, it's not on your mind, it's not a part of your life. You're just completely away from it. But not only that, you guys are actively trying to reduce it in other people's lives. So that's a positive, a double positive, a double benefit. But to promote it as, you know, you're just free. You are more of a free person because you don't have such a burden on your life is one thing. The second thing I didn't hear in the presentation is, in my have other training that has it, just like a cigarette, as a it's a similar word to gateway, not for something harder, more difficult, but for abuse, because someone who wants to take advantage of a young person will present something that is not horribly bad, not totally evil, right? But to introduce you to something, hey, try this. You've seen this before, right? Here, check it out. Have you ever held one before? And whether it's a cigarette or a vape, that little break in your experience from never having touched it, never having experienced it, to just kind of trying it, is a step towards abuse. And people just try to do that with other things as well. And so that's something that is taught about it.
Yeah, and we know that there's just to speak to your point, around 90% of folks who have substance use disorder as an adult started using before the age of 18. And nicotine and THC, as you mentioned, really are substances that change their brain chemistry and kind of primes them for addiction in the future. And so just speaking to what you're saying, that's what we do a lot of work in prevention to try to just delay as much as possible to prevent addiction in the future, because we know the burden it has on the person, but also the entire community as a whole. So I agree with you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So what's the name of your, did you have something to say, Mike?
Yes. Yes, sir. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Guys, I'm blown away. I'm deeply moved by this presentation. I just applaud the efforts of the Health Advisory Board, and especially the students, the young people that took your time to go out there and do the recon work that you did. Just an incredible presentation. I'm completely blown away. I would love to see, as Mr. Poe mentioned, sort of a concerted effort among us as school board members and the Health Advisory Board, and even the students, if possible, to go before City Council with some of the data that you presented tonight, specifically regarding the retail access. And I'd like to move for us as a board to take their recommendation. She mentioned creating a committee or a board that would take their recommendations, go through, evaluate, assess, and prioritize next steps and how we deal with some of this. I don't think we can take a presentation like this and just, hey, great job and move on. I'd like to see us actually take action and do something with a little bit of a time limit. Maybe say by the end of summer, we've got something in place that we're implementing to really attack this issue head on.
I can speak to that. What if we make a motion to give the task to create a vaping incident response regulatory document that they were speaking about, task to one of the committees, and they would present that to the board in a certain period of time.
Well, we're so close to reorganization. I don't even think we have any more committee meetings this month. All our committees will be reformed in July, and that'll be something that we probably will bring forth to LACR. And the next committee, that'll probably be one of their focuses. But until then, we're out of committee meetings for the rest of this month. We reorganized. They're announcing the new school board members on the 23rd. On July 2nd July 1st we'll have our reorganization meeting, and then we'll assign our new committees. But we are definitely going to do something with this program.
Yeah, I guess that would be essentially the motion. I think it's worth making a motion to say, hey, we're going to follow up and create a response to this presentation and actually do something moving forward. So that way we hold ourselves accountable to taking action by a specific vote, not just by our words alone.
We need to make sure we follow proper protocol. And the only person that can establish an ad hoc committee like this is the chair, and he is absent tonight. So I think we should table it, and when the chair is here and the new board is here, that will be one of the issues that we can bring forth and do a vote on and run with.
Fair enough.
Before we leave, the Hype Club members would just like to give you each a swag bag with information. And again, thank you very much for having us tonight.
I want to give these students a standing ovation for what they're doing.
Thank you.
Okay, board member reports. Chris, first three of Ms. Lowry's not here. Mr. Poe, accelerate. Thank you, once again.
I'd like to hear Tiffany Brown's voice one time before the meeting is over.
Waiting for you, Mr. Poe.
Oh, I was waiting to hear what
sorry.
I was trying to whisper to Mr. Connor. Say,
I'm sorry.
Where are we at?
Accelerate.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, STEM Academy?
Board member, yes. Board member report.
Okay, all right, gotcha. Sorry. So the STEM Academy is pretty much out for the summer. I reported, I think, extensively on it the last board meeting. Just looking at some of the notes from our meeting. We had a meeting on Tuesday, May 26, 2026. There were, of course, some of the other board members and members of that committee in attendance. Internships began on January 7, 2026. let's see here. They went over their STEM presentations, different things of that nature. It's really no new business, so I think we can move forward and look forward to more as we get ready to start the school year.
Okay, the next one would be me, finance and facilities. As we go into fiscal 2026-27, we're going to be focused on spending, Mr. Marshall, $30 million. Renovations, we got a plan. Y'all voted on it in the consent agenda on today, and then we'll also be bringing forth our insurance proposals early in the next month. LACR, Mr. Jalil.
Yes, no meeting today, but we are looking forward to keeping in touch with the policies that Richmond lays on us and making sure that LCS is geared up and ready to go for the next season.
Partners in Education, Mr. Eileen and Dr. Farmer.
RS Payne outside pantry is still being stocked.
Pull your microphone down.
Thank you. GLTC is offering free rides for the summer for the youth for $25, and we're looking for volunteers to assist the youth. It's across the board. It doesn't matter whether it's a young man or a young lady. It doesn't matter what color you are. Just ride the bus, okay, for free for the summer, okay? So if you know of anybody that would like to assist our youth, please let us know, okay? Also I passed out the flyer from Dr. Joanne Martin. The NAACP has a steering committee working on the tutors. And Mr. Pope,
Yes, ma'am.
you're one of them, working on this
A
tutor.
tutor? I need a tutor.
I ain't got nothing to do with that now. Mr. Pope, myself, Mr. Brown, and two others, okay? So, and they do not have to be a teacher. You just gotta have a willing spirit to help somebody, okay? And also, I shared with my parents, I've had several to come to me about the June 30 meeting that we're having and the time of day, and I assured them that another meeting for the later on is coming up for them to come and voice their concerns, okay? Because they were concerned that this meeting is being held during the day and they work, and I had to calm them down, bless you.
I'm sorry.
And tell them that a meeting is coming, okay? And that's all that I have for you.
I'm sorry, repeat that last part about the meeting coming.
On June the 30th, it was during the day, and they approached me that they can't come. They can't get off work, so I assured them, calmed them down, that a meeting is coming after 5 so that they can come, okay?
Dr.
Do you mind, may I speak to the June 30th meeting? I was going to do it during my comments. This isn't a community forum in terms of come and share your concerns and your complaints. This is a community partnership meeting on the 30th. And so the way that meeting is going to be structured is so that we've done a needs assessment. I know that people don't feel like we have, but we've done a needs assessment. We have our data. We've also done a needs assessment by building. And what we're doing that day is sharing out the needs that we have by building. Buildings are going to be there. And community partners, business leaders can come and sign up for what they would be interested in, help support us. We have all of our data, we have all of that information. So what we'll do is just have that community forum so that people can come in and sign up to help. It's not going to be a session of, hey, we want to share our complaints and concerns. This is we've heard the complaints and concerns. How about you come in and help? And so that's going to be the setup for that. So we're going to explain what our needs are. People will have opportunities to meet with each of the different schools. The AOAC committee, headed up by Mr. Poe, will be there. as one of the tables as well, since that's an ad hoc committee of the school board. But that's going to give people an opportunity to come and say, hey, whether you want to tutor, whether you want to help with beautification projects, whether you just want to provide monetary support, but there are going to be all types of avenues for support. But this is our time of action. So it won't be a session of a back and forth of, hey, I'm concerned about this. We recognize the concerns, but it's going to be, how can you come and support and how can we best align you? But then also covering a lot of information in terms of, if you plan to tutor, then this is the training you're going to have to go through instruction. If you plan to help with the beautification project, then these are the trainings you'll go through with operations, because we have to make sure that we're aligned and uniform. So that's what the 30th is. We are doing it during the day. We have close to 70 people who have signed up so far. We are looking at adding an additional session a little bit later for the evening for those people we could not capture during the day. But I want to make sure that it's a level of clarity as to what this meeting is, because it's not that type of meeting. This is we know our problems, we're sharing it, here are our needs. How can you wrap your arms around us? So that's the structure of that.
One of the things that I noticed is last year, we might have had 6 or 7 organizations giving out backpacks. And kids were leaving with 4 backpacks. But there may be, the school is saying, well, all my kids are good on backpacks, but here's what, and so this is gonna be one of those, Sandusky Elementary, we need blank.
These, yep.
Who's here that can fill that need? Sheffield may say, this is what we need, and then, that fits what I can do. So we're gonna try to match the needs of each building with the resources in the community that can meet those needs. It's almost like a matchmaking deal, so I'm looking forward to that.
I am too, and thank you for that clarity.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, Education Foundation, Mr. Jalil.
Yes, it's, they're plugging away and they're gearing up for the summertime and of course the new year. Nothing new, but otherwise they are going well. I just hear good things from them.
Mr. Beacon of Hope, Mr. Barron, Mr. Poe.
Let Mr. Byrne take over on that.
Excellent. Thank you, Mr. Poe. I had the distinct honor of speaking to this group on the first day of this program. This is a paid internship experience that Beacon of Hope does every summer. And there are 65 LCS interns and 12 college-age mentors spread across 25 local businesses, each spending 5 hours a day in training or on-site through the end of June. Guys, this is, to me, one of the most exciting things that happens with our partnerships. We see tangible, as we see in a room full of students who are engaged in investing in their future, and to that degree, I think it's just fantastic. So thanks and hats off to the Beacon of Hope and our partnership with them.
Okay, the next one is me again, Student Discipline Committee report. This year we focused on 3 specific areas, and listening to the city council interviews of our new school board members, I heard many of them articulating these things. One thing, of course, weapons, we have dealt with weapons very seriously. We got the metal detectors installed in the schools, and they've really been working well. But the second thing we said we're going to focus on is THC and other illegal drugs. We dealt very seriously those. And the third thing is violence. We have really addressed, because we hear a lot about bullying, but we are trying to eliminate the physical violence taking place inside our schools, and we have been dealing with those very aggressively but fairly. The thing that I'm most excited about is the expansion of our Restore program. Up till this school year, it was limited to 6th grade and 9th grade, but going into the next school year, we're going to expand. We'll have a middle school Restore program, which will meet the needs of 6th, 7th, and 8th, and a high school Restore program, which will deal with the needs of the 9th through 12th graders. What really, because what we found is that when we rolled it out in the beginning, You know, we thought that sixth grade was a transition year and ninth grade's a transition year where they're going from elementary to, and some children do great that first year, but that summer between sixth and seventh grade, something happens, and I think we had more seventh graders and more 10th and 11th graders than we had sixth and ninth graders. So expanding this program will give us the ability to instill this restorative education practices to these students at a greater level and expand it to so we can meet the needs of every grade level, as well as while they're in the Restore program, they're able to maintain their academics. So that I'm excited about, looking forward to that. Board comments. We're going to start with Mr. Barron.
You skipped over the stupid.
Oh, I sure did. I'm sorry. Hold back.
You're fine. That was my comment about June 30th. And if some people have not signed up yet, it is on, it's been on a social media page. If you could sign up, it's Heritage High School. It is going to be on Tuesday, June 30th, beginning at 9 a.m. And we just welcome the community to come. We've had a good turnout in terms of the number of people who plan to be present to support us. So we welcome many more.
Where at and inside of Heritage will we be?
In the cafeteria.
Cafeteria. All right.
Okay, Mr. Barron, board comments.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. As you guys know, I've had my 3 T's this whole year: trust, transition, and transportation. I'm going to give that a break. Actually working on building on my 3 priorities I want to focus in on over the next year. But I do want to make just a quick statement, because I want to encourage our community to come out to the June 30th. And I've seen the needs assessment that's been done. I know they've been working really hard behind the scenes to organize and create a good system and process for us to maximize our community engagement. But there's a statement made by our 33rd president, Harry Truman. He said, "It's amazing what we can accomplish when we don't care who gets the credit." And as I look at our community, one of the things that stands out to me as a major barrier to good allocation of resources is we have a lot of people that just care whose name is on something or want to get credit for something. And I just encourage community members to come in to the meeting on the 30th and engage in various capacities with LCS. And your posture has to be such that you're not looking for credit. You're not looking for your name on things. Like we should be doing this for our students, because our students need it. And that's my ask of our community. That's my ask of my fellow school board members. We're not in these seats or in these positions for to jockey for some sort of recognition or position. This is a service. We serve our students. We serve our community. And so that's just my encouragement to all of us, that it's amazing what we can accomplish when we don't care who gets the credit.
Thank you, Mr. Aline.
Yeah, not going to be too long here. This year has been a good year. I know we've had a lot of challenges along the way. But one thing that resonated with me, which was last time we met, the concept of absenteeism, that is still resting a little hard in my soul. And I'm trying this year, hopefully next year, we can work on that together as a team. I would love to push myself into that. This summer alone, I determined I have about 40 kids that I'll be working with this summer. And I've already started on Monday. And these kids are going to be with me for 6 weeks. And we're going to be feeding them, having lunch and breakfast, and taking them out on trips and stuff. But one of the things that we determined we will do is to expose the parents to this concept and stress the importance of absenteeism. And then next year when we come back with the new team, if there's a way that we can connect. That video that was on the website was very, very informative. I went back and looked at it and saw some interesting things that we could probably implement as a team. And I will say I would like to be part of a strategic plan to help. If I got to knock on doors, I'm a preacher, so we knock on doors, so I'm not afraid to knock on doors. And if this is gonna help, I would really want to be engaged in that. So that's all I got.
Mr. Pope.
Thank you, Mr. Connor. I don't know if anybody's familiar or ever watched Crime Story, and you watch a crime story, and they have a suspect, and everything seems to point to that suspect, and then there's this piece of evidence that comes in and debunks everything that made you think it was the suspect. And I just want to mention that a lot of the work, a lot of questions that, you know, our community asks are right in the board meeting. And, you know, I'm glad to see that we have a new mission statement, that it's, you know, not every child left behind, or all these different things. And also, you know, I had somebody tell me a long time ago, you can, what was it saying? You can attract flies with honey, and you know, coming in making demands and hard deadlines, and as our superintendent said about this upcoming meeting on June the 30th, it's about moving forward, and it's about working together. I'm sorry.
I'm disagreeing
Yeah,
with you.
okay.
It's your amen corner.
That's right. You know me.
All right. And, you know, we have to really be careful when we assume certain things. We've done needs assessments, and we're moving forward as a division. What that moving forward looks like, only, you know, the future will tell, but we are moving forward. We already know, you know, where we stand at and different things of that nature. And at some point, you have to lick your wounds and move forward. And I'm not interested in sitting around and licking wounds. I wouldn't have been on the school board if I didn't. We do have our AOAC meeting coming up this Thursday, where we're going to be getting some work done. And, you know, as for those that feel like we should be responding back and forth to emails, there's really too much work to do, and I'd much rather get the work done, and you know, not interested in the negative noise. I want to remain positive, remain focused, and it's just too much work that has to be done. And so for all those viewers, anybody that's listening, that's the focus. That's where we're heading. I'm willing to work with those that are willing to really get some work done, and the rest is just noise, and we don't, you know, we've got to move forward. So I appreciate everybody that comes forward. Please pay attention to the board meetings before you come, so you have a better understanding. Because like I said, sometimes you can think something and assume something, but do your research. Make sure you have a full understanding about what's really going on, and how you can actually help. And I look to see as many as our community members on June 30th as that are willing to come out and be ready to do some good work.
Amen, amen, amen.
Thank you.
Dr. Farmer.
I look forward to being a team member through growth, opportunity, and success. Growth, opportunity, and success. Thank you, my superintendent. Thank you.
Well, amen, amen,
Amen, amen. That's right.
Yes.
Short and sweet.
Yeah, I can do that.
Right. All them cards.
Oh, it's no problem at all. I just,
Oh, my gosh.
okay, so let's, a couple things here I got for you.
No, what did I tell you before the meeting?
Just for you, ma'am. But, you know, just to be your amen corner, I'll take a break from this. Okay.
Thank you.
All right. I'm very thankful for LCS getting back to the books, back to paper, back to getting the fundamentals in for the students. It's been good to see that, to hear about it, and I want more. We'd like to get students back to handwriting, of course, but that's something that has to be integrated, and to be able to read the Declaration of Independence in its original format is a good goal. I actually think that other things are needful that we don't have, such as defense classes for girls. I think that would be a great thing to teach girls, generally speaking, in public schools, how to defend themselves, because that will equalize the situations. And to have an emphasis on sleep, nutrition, and exercise is the three pillars of someone's life. Sleep, nutrition, and exercise. It will help with grades, it'll help with the joy of life, and help with athletics. I think our teams will win more games because of these things. And of course, our academics will rise. I'm thankful to have worked with the Crime Stoppers and seeing that they were willing to come into the public school system. I also have heard that some law enforcement officers are willing to bring the SWAT team vehicles to excite and incentivize students. Just simply visiting the schools with these vehicles, and you can work out something there. I'll share more about that later. And the Caterpillar Clubhouse is interested in helping our students, especially in the summertime if they can get it done. They're geared towards more motion and activity things, but the Caterpillar Clubhouse is available for LCS use if we can work together with them. I will be glad to hear more about the Constitution Week being emphasized. The more we can get the students to love and appreciate how this country was founded and what the documents are, and to memorize the preamble even, and maybe receive a reward for that, and just to continually emphasize it, not only during Constitution Week, but through things that are going on like the 250th anniversary would be tremendous. So I look forward to hearing about that some more, and I'm just pleased to have been a part of this board, and there's so much more that can be said, but I've decided to pull back that scroll for Dr. Farmer's sake.
That's right.
And thank you for your time.
Short and sweet and to the point. Amen.
First of all, we don't know, I know Ms. Lowry has reapplied and has gone through the interview process, but Mr. Jalil and Mr. DePaul will not be joining us in the next advent of the school board, so I want to thank you because it's a sacrifice.
Most certainly is.
And we really appreciate all you've done in your 3 years. Is it 3 years or 6 years that you've been on? Three. And we really appreciate you and what you've given to this school board. Just wanted you to know that. Same thing to Mr. DePaul, who served also for a good period of time and was chairman of several different committees and very vital in what we were trying to accomplish for student academic success. I have a few comments as stand-in chair and to use my time. One of the things I want to make sure that as we go into the next school year, that we help the public understand that we have to have a distinguishment between transparency and confidentiality. It's they're complementary. I got cats on red out. They're complementary pillars of ethical operations, not mutually exclusive concepts. Transparency involves openly sharing rationale, processes, and decisions, whereas confidentiality safeguards sensitive information like personal data, legal matters, and strategic plans. Balancing the two is critical for building trust while protecting privacy. So defining the two concepts: transparency, openly sharing the why behind decisions and the processes used. It is not about sharing every minor detail of daily operations, but being forthcoming about goals, changes, and accountability. Confidentiality is the duty to protect sensitive, private, and proprietary data. This applies to ongoing business negotiations, medical records, legal issues, and personnel details. So I want, as we go, we want to make sure that we're transparent, but the public and staff, everybody's got to understand there's a difference between transparency and confidentiality. and we must protect confidential information. We have a legal as a, what's the word? We are.
Fiduciary?
Thank you. Fiduciary. We're a fiduciary board. We have a accountability and responsibility to protect personnel, legal, and confidential matters, while also not hiding backroom deals. We sign a COIA, conflict of interest statement, which is about, it's way too long for me. But we must make sure that we balance both. And I think going into in our next school year, that's gonna be our focus. We're gonna be transparent with the public, we're gonna be open with the public, but we also have to let the public know when we clearly must protect confidentiality. And we're not hiding anything, there's no smoky rooms, there's no secret, we just have to, our goal is to raise. I keep hearing, everybody loves to say it now, it's almost a thing. We're 122 out of 131. We know that. But I guarantee you, we are not gonna stay at 122.
Right.
And we're not going to 123, 124. I see us below. I see us down in the 90s or the 80s. And I think if we continue to keep our focus, the main thing, I see us going back into the 70s where we were 15 years ago.
We will. We will.
That's a lot of pressure on you, but I think we can do it. If we keep the main thing,
The main thing.
That being said, our next school board meeting is Wednesday, July 1st, and it will be our school board reorganization meeting. We'll have our new school board members, who I understand are going to be appointed on June 23rd. They'll go through their orientations and go through their oath signing, and then we'll have our meeting, and we'll elect a new chair and a new vice chair, and then we'll be ready to do school board business for 2026, 27. The next school board meeting after that will be Tuesday, July 21st at 5 p.m. right here in the administration building. And with that, we are adjourned.